Well, hello people, and welcome back to episode 9 of Yokeley, where we're having a wonderful day. The patch has arrived that's brought 2 of the bridges from the incoming DLC that was delayed a couple of weeks ago, alongside some keys and piers. And today we're going to connect the 2 national roads of Yokeley, split by the lake, and indeed the only way to transition these roads at the minute is to drive through Benedict and create traffic. Today's build will also function as a bypass for the town, whilst also giving direct port access from the highways. But we'll get started by upgrading this single 2-lane national road into a much more significant interchange system. So with our new sweeping 2-lane highway installed over here, let's turn our attention to one of the new bridges that releases with this patch today. So I'm going to use the 4-lane highway double train track double decked extra dosed bridge, which might be the longest named network ever in Cities Skylines possibly. And this is really nice, right? So it will generate the pillars as we draw it along as many as we need them. I think I'll try get it to 2 pillars. Let's see where the threshold is. So 360 meters, it'll throw the 3rd pillar in. We can see it little pop there, can't we? So let's do 2 pillars and we'll have it, make sure we get it lined up properly here. Like that, I think. How does that look for the city? Because we won't be sending ships down here because the waterways are too narrow for cargo ships, really. So all of our trade will be done on the shoreline, I think, of the lake. Where we certainly will build a cargo port here when Bridges and Ports releases. We'll do a build here to accompany said bridge. But otherwise, how nice is this asset, right? Double-decked networks for the first time in Cities Skylines. Reminds me so much of Thessia, of course. Really nice, especially with all the iron on it too, right? Just gorgeous. Really nice asset. And a massive bit of infrastructure, isn't it? Super sweet. So I want to go with 20 meters for the bridge right here, okay? And now let's talk about how we can configure. So with these, when you have the double-decked bridge with vanilla, if you have Anarchy, this isn't an issue. But you need to kind of work from the top layers down to find in vanilla. So let's continue the 4-lane highway, and we'll grab that right from the node there. And let's just draw that out on 180 degrees, and just get a nice stretch run up to the bridge like that, okay? So this next layer here, this train line is at 7.5 meters. So let's grab this, and then we'll come out and then just curve away before we hit that first pillar there, right? We're just about there. And then we can continue that to run off and join those new networks that we've just been creating. At the start of the episode, start to bring this down a little bit. Oh, we've still got another body of water to cross, but we'll probably swing it around again, I imagine, here, right? See if we can get a nice run up here. Come straight in like that, and down to that area, 0.2. Train, please shouldn't be too mad with that one, I don't think. Sorry if you are. But I think it should be alright, okay. And then with this one here, I reckon just joining in from the bridge node. With a little ascent as we begin to climb almost. Hopefully we can squeeze in not too dissimilar to that. Right, that gives us train access this side, which we can now send over this way as well and have that go to another outside connection. But we'll focus on this connection a little bit later. Otherwise, let's time-lapse up the road segment, and this should be a really fun interchange to piece together, especially with all the layers around here. Well, let's time-lapse up the little 3-way bridge interchange here. I'm also going to send off some little feeder ramps down onto this road here too, which I imagine is going to come and connect over this side. I'm not sure where I'm sending that yet, but this will be our downtown as well regardless, which will now sit with that bridge there too. And let's just check out a little bit of kind of the foreground here as well, shall we? Or with it in the background, let's go to the town centre. That's such a landmark for the town now, isn't it? How cool is that? Especially with the bridges there too. We can finally fix this today with the keys as well, everyone. Happy days indeed. We'll do all that. Either way, let's time lapse with that interchange. Have a little look over this cool little bridge interchange. At least this end of it anyway. We'll time lapse the other end up in a second. Let's just take a second to see what's happened with it there. So from the initial 2-lane road we had, this now diverges off into multiple directions. So we'll eventually add a slip lane off here as well, I think, once we develop this arterial system up this hill. But that's the future building from now anyway. This little roundabout system here sends the highways on and off the little system here. You can see where it splits. And then kind of comes off in 2 different directions, loops around a bit of a trumpet system here. And then the other one goes back onto the other side, of course, linking up with the bridge with these other 2 directions from this side over here. Maybe could smooth that out a touch more, perhaps. It's a little steep, but maybe not impossible. I just need to grade it a little bit more, perhaps. But either way, it is a really cool interchange system that flows around in many different directions, and also connects in over here as well. And this will be part of our downtime road network when we build up our taller bit of the city, which will probably be in a few episodes' time. I think that'll occupy this little space here. But we should be pretty cool because we wouldn't have the train line flowing right through the middle of that, which should just be such a cool feature and design, you know? Should be quite a lot of fun, that, I think. The trains, of course, also have access up onto the bridge underneath all of the road network. So there's the bird's eye perspective if you want the directionality of how we're leading the bridge here. In terms of how we're going to connect into the other side, we've got quite difference in height to deal with, so we'll probably do some cool kick out and switch back stuff. The rail is going to come alongside this road to serve another outside connection once we have those tiles unlocked. Of course, we won't be able to do that for a little while yet. And then this road here also wants to be upgraded to couplet like we've done over here as well, so we can configure the next interchange system. So let's move into that time lapse, shall we? And then we'll see what happens with it. But I absolutely love this bridge, isn't it wonderful? So nice. Great views back to the city from here as well, right? Very nice. Wonderful. Let's do this side. So before we do any kind of network detail in here with trees and bushes and some further landscape, maybe some surface work underneath the pillars as well might be quite welcome. I think we'll check that out and see how that looks. But either way, let's just have a look at what's going on over the other side. Over here, now weirdly enough, I've opened up tiles, which thus increases tile upkeep. And we started making more money, which makes little to no sense, to be honest. But I'm thinking maybe actually we'll grab these tiles here. I'm not sure if the economy will take it, but I really want the outside connection for the train, because I want trains coming across the bridge. Maybe, what's the cheaper route? Let's these ones. If I was to go this way, with that tile upkeep per month, man, that's insane. That's just so stupid, isn't it? Yeah, this one's the cheaper route to the outside connection. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I really don't want to. But I really don't want to open too many tiles at once, so don't expect us to build out here. Although then again, I guess we do have some possible farm space out here we could build. But yeah, I really want to fill what we've already opened, really. But I'm only doing that for the outside connection, so I'll get that plugged in. And that way we can see the trains across the bridge. And then over here, I've added in one of the base game interchanges, which was pretty much perfect for what I wanted, really. It kind of gives me 3 exits off of the bridge road coming out there, which looks great from here as well, doesn't it? And then over here, this will be our port road down into the port one day, which I'm going to wait for bridges and ports to do that. Unfortunately, that should have been this week, but it's not, so we'll wait for that. But we do have the road connections prepared. Up here, this blends back into a 4-lane road up to around about the national road before it just degrades back into 2-lane country road. And then down here, the other roads off of the interchange meet back lower down the national road at a super node with some traffic lights on it, which is very nice. There's also some lane maths through here as well, which is quite tidy. And then this is now 4-lane all the way down into here, which is quite tidy. So what that's essentially done is meaning that if you want to transition the national roads, so this one to this one, you now no longer need to enter Benedict, right? This is really kind of the Benedict Bridge bypass, if you like, which is the perfect name, isn't it? My goodness, that's definitely what it's called. Yeah, these new interchange systems also allow you to really easily access downtown, which I realise doesn't exist yet. It will here at some point. And with these little interchange roads coming off here. And then there's also those little slip ramps there now, so which you can see are getting used. And of course, this road itself is also an outside connection. So there's actually 3 national roads all merging across these new network systems today. But the whole point being that you can now bypass Benedict entirely without having to fight your way through what is a pretty busy corporate system, especially during the rush hours. It gets busy around here. It's only 1:30 in the morning at the minute. Definitely during sort of 8 AM and 5 PM, and this road does get pretty busy. So that bypass, especially once the port is in and that industrial traffic is drawn over there, it should significantly ease the pressure on this more commercial residential road network, allowing the more heavy industrial traffic to use these networks instead. So an awful lot of fun, and probably one of the best interchanges I've ever built, I think. I really like this 3-directional bridge interchange. Super cute. So very happy with it, but either way, let's get some detailing done around here. And then we'll watch those trains flow as well, shall we? So I thought we all want to watch the first train, right? Let's have a look at this. It's quite a tight turn there, is it, maybe? See if we can smooth that out. And here we go. Isn't that so cool? That's so nice. Let's watch it emerge out here, shall we, with the city in the background. Amazing. Isn't that awesome? I'm so happy to see tiered infrastructure being introduced to the vanilla experience. Something that, I mean, we did, well, Teddy Radko did this in Thessia, of course, for us to make the Thessia Bay Bridge. That was just such a significantly modded effort to get something to look like that. So to see it translate now into just a single network is absolutely delicious. Really, really like that. And of course now this coastline will have trains running all the way down it. Which is actually going to, if we check it out, you see it's going to Palawan, which is very nice. Palawan turns 5 years old tomorrow, actually, by the time if you're watching this on release date, that is on the 12th. Yeah, so cool. We've got trains coming up and down the lake this side as well. Otherwise, detailing done, and then we'll check it out once we're finished. So just some nice basic decoration around the base of the interchange into the port here. Using some concrete actually just underneath the bridge to kind of make it out like a support. With some pretty basic landscaping, some nice grass texture in there too. But really fun, and this will provide tons of access into the port one day once it exists. Beyond that, let's play with some of the keys. Now there's been a very famous flooded road in Yokeley for a little while, so we need to fix this. So I'm probably going to have to tear out quite a few buildings here, and definitely all of this road, as we come to play with those new keys, which are really fun. Really happy to see keys back in. Also allows you to add that retaining wall function without having to mess about with the cut and fill system either. Hey guys, so unfortunately I lost the audio from this live play section here, but we're just using the new key roads, which are really nice. They come in 2 different sizes. They do sit quite high off the water, so you have to be careful with the terrain around them. You can really see here how we have this kind of lip back to the city. But with just a little bit of terraforming, if you can pick out the right height, bring it forward a bit, and then just smooth it all out, it really isn't a problem. The brick texture on them is super nice as well. It's kind of like this white sort of washed stone. Do be careful with the terrain poking out the bottom as well. They don't fully flatten the land they're on. And with these little wooden piers, they're essentially just wide pathways, and they connect perfectly as bridges over here, connecting the 2 sides of the river. And without having to mess about with any anarchy with a pedestrian pathway. So these new piers, super versatile, and we'll place one a bit further upstream as well. Alright guys, let's have a little look over at the patch additions to Yokeley in today's episode. So all the way through here, the water is slowly evaporating from these interior streets. Just about disappeared from this one now as well. You even see quite a bit of road wear there too. We did place a road maintenance depot, which we'll get to, which I'm sure you saw earlier in the video. But it's all starting to evaporate slowly through here now. I'm still a little bit deeper there, but it is slowly dissipating, which is nice. The key, I love that we have one side higher than the other. Gives it much more of a foundational vibe where we have the bigger buildings, doesn't it? In hindsight, I think we'll probably end up gentrifying this waterfront housing into more apartment stuff. I don't know. I guess I want to see what the vibe is with the downtown. I'm not sure how tall we're going to go here. For our I guess for Benedict's city centre, if you like. Obviously, this is just one of our towns, so its financial centre will lie here. Which we might do next episode, and then I'm really looking forward to getting that industrial counterpart sat across that too. Again, such a shame that this video isn't about bridges and ports. It's just, that delay sucks balls, really. I was really looking forward to that, but it was needed, so we'll get to that when it comes out. So, but we can still put factories over here in the meantime. Inspired by a city showcase, I really want to have this river dividing a very industrial sector by a very kind of high-risey financial city centre, glass towers sort of area. I think that'd be such a cool contrast between the waterways, especially once we've got them all keyed as well. With this wonderful new bridge in the foreground, which is just so nice. I really like it through here, and sits really nicely in the river. Great, just skyline asset for Benedict, isn't it? From whatever perspective you look at it, we could even head right back to the start of the city, shall we? Looking down the arterial road near the big box to the train station, which is such a favourite sight line, of course. Over there, right? Isn't that such a cool addition? I really like that. That's so nice. Again, I love the bridges. The bridges are definitely the best bit of this patch, and certainly of the incoming DLC as well, I think. It's so nice to have chunky infrastructure, isn't it? Over here, this whole national road network, we'd added in the road maintenance depot, which I think sits really nicely in amongst the interchange, doesn't it? It's like this little service building. The ramp's getting some decent use, of course. I think once they have the port to go to, there will be significant more use here, but even now it's still getting the occasional car taking the ramps up. You get a sense of how they flow through here. Up onto the interchange there, onto the bridge. Trains on the other side as well. Absolutely wonderful. Didn't go with the surface in the end, it just looked too clean. So went with a lot of smaller plants in the middle, as in, this area has just been recently deforested because this interchange is now here, so the plants in the middle are a little bit smaller because of that. On the outside, they're still like they were, this big kind of wooded shoreline that a lot of Yokeley has, for example. We're just trying to blend the detail in there with the trees too, right, which I think is quite impactful. And I think we're all pretty sensibly graded. There's nothing awful around here. Everyone's mostly happy, I think. Decided to kick this slip ramp out a bit too, because it was just a bit too sharp on that ascent. And it's really satisfying to watch, isn't it? It's such a cool bit of infrastructure that just flows everywhere. Really happy with this. But otherwise, guys, that will do it for today. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Fun little patch this, and we'll start to develop Benedict's downtown in the coming episodes, I think, with some more high-rise stuff as we start to build around this bridge. And I think get lots of park space around the base of the bridge as well will be a really interesting kind of landscaping and detailing feature of this area, especially with so much waterfront to play with, because there are two rivers here as well, which is going to really just improve the build. I think very much looking forward to the next few episodes. Huge shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that support these videos, with a roll call to our golden patron: Eggs, Andrew Perez, Bad Wolfo, Blythe, Casino, Darius, Lara Roberts, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix ND, Spartan Angel, and Wesley Kip. Thank you so much for your relentless support, guys. And some news, since I don't think I mentioned this in Yokeley yet, have I? I recently had an offer accepted on a house, so hopefully I'll be a homeowner very soon. So your support now is just even more meaningful, and thank you so much for everything you do on the channel. I'm glad you enjoy the videos as much as you do. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.